Hello dear students, in this section we are dealing with holders inequality. Function analysis main രണ്ട് important inequalities holders inequality and mean cause space inequality. നമ്മൾ ലാസ്റ്റ് ക്ലാസ്സിൽ നോംസ് എന്താ, നോർമൽ സ്പേസ് എന്താന്നൊക്കെ സംസാരിച്ചിരുന്നു. ചില എക്സാമ്പിൾസ് വി ഹാവ് ഡിസ്കസ്ഡ്, റൈറ്റ്? സോ അതിൽ പി നോം, പിന്നെ ഇൻഫിനിറ്റ് നോം, എൽ പി സ്പേസിലുള്ളത് എല്ലാം ഡിഫൈൻ ചെയ്തു. ബട്ട് വി ഡിഡ്ന്റ് പ്രൂവ് ദാറ്റ് യാർ. അത് നോമാണെന്ന് പ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ വൺ മോർ കണ്ടീഷൻ വി നീഡ് ആക്ച്വലി, ദ ട്രയാങ്കിൾ ഇനീക്വാലിറ്റി. അത് പ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ യു നീഡ് ദീസ് ഇനീക്വാലിറ്റീസ്. ഓക്കെ, so let us consider what is holders inequality. Okay, so for every sequence of scalars, sequence ai and sequence bi with 1 less than p less than infinity, p varies from actually 1 to infinity. Okay, we have modulus of sigma ak bk which is less than or equal to, that obvious, right? Sigma modulus of ak bk which is less than or equal to sigma modulus of ak raised to p whole raised to 1 by p times sigma modulus of bk raised to q whole raised to 1 by q, where q is of the form is a number such that 1 by p plus 1 by q is equal to 1. Okay, that is ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള പെയേഴ്സുകളെയാണ് പറയുക കോൺജുഗേറ്റ് പെയേഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുക. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഇഫ് എ ആൻഡ് ബി ആർ ഇൻ ടു കോൺജുഗേറ്റ് പെയേഴ്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഫ്രാക്ഷണൽ കോൺജുഗേറ്റ്സ് എന്ന് പറയും. സച്ച് ദാറ്റ് വി ഹാവ് 1 by a plus 1 by b ഈക്വൽ ടു 1 ആവുന്നത്. സോ അങ്ങനെയുള്ള പെയേഴ്സുകളാണ് പി ആൻഡ് ക്യൂ. ഓക്കെ, അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ ഈ ഇനീക്വാലിറ്റി എക്സിസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നു. ദിസ് ഇസ് ഹോൾഡേഴ്സ് ഇനീക്വാലിറ്റി. So this is actually from k equal to 1 to infinity. Okay, so if you do for finite case for I equal to 1 to n and n, you let n into infinity, you will get the answer. So we are first we are proving for finite case. For finite sets, then it can be extended. And also you observe that for this condition 1 by p plus 1 by q equal to 1 implies these two conditions. 1 by p minus 1 is equal to q minus 1 and p minus 1 into q is equal to p. That we will get easily. You can see here 1 by p plus 1 by q is equal to 1, and which implies 1 plus, okay, p by q equal to p. What you are doing is q going to multiply 0, which implies p minus 1 equal to p by q, and which implies p minus 1 into q equal to p. So we got the one condition, and from this itself we will get the another condition. Again you can have 1 by p is equal to, you can write it as 1 minus 1 by q, which implies 1 by p is equal to q minus 1 divided by q, which implies you take q to this side, so q by p is equal to q minus 1, which implies from first condition you have p is equal to p minus 1 into q. You substitute that. So q divided by q into p minus 1 is equal to q minus 1. Q get cancelled. So you get 1 by p minus 1 is equal to q minus 1. So you are getting two conditions that you can apply in the proof. Okay, so proof. So first let real number ci as modulus of ai divided by sigma mod aj raised to p whole raised to 1 by p, and similarly di is equal to modulus of bi divided by sigma modulus of bj raised to q whole raised to 1 by q. This sigma is runs over here. Okay, now then clearly we have sum of ci raised to p is equal to 1, sum of ci di raised to q is equal to 1. You can see here sigma ci raised to p can be written as sigma ci ന്റെ അവിടെ കൊടുക്കുക mod ai divided by sigma mod aj raised to p whole raised to 1 by p whole raised to p. So what you are getting, this become modulus of ai sigma or I modulus of ai raised to p divided by this p get cancelled, so you are getting so both are same sum, so it is equal to 1. Similarly you will get sigma di raised to q is also equal to 1. Next we will show that the product sigma ci di is less than or equal to 1. Okay, let's see. For that, first claim is we have ci di is less than or equal to 1 by p into ci raised to p plus 1 by q into di raised to q. Ci, di are some real number only. Okay, if you want, you can write cd less than or equal to something like that. Now consider the function. For this we are doing as a geometrically we are proving this. Okay, so consider the function y equal to x raised to p minus 1. Okay, let's see the figure. So this is the curve y equal to x raised to p minus 1. So we are integrating from 0 to ci. So what we are to will get the area under this curve, right? That is S1, the portion S1. So we have S1 is equal to the integral value. You can directly integrate, is very easy. X raised to p minus 1, the integral of this is equal to x raised to p divided by p, right? So when you apply this with respect to 0 to ci, you will get 1 by p into ci raised to p. Now next, the inverse of this function, y equal to x raised to p, inverse in terms of x is equal to y terms, right? So we have x is equal to y raised to 1 by p minus 1, this area. And y is therefore, but we know that 1 by p minus 1 can be written as q minus y by our observation, y raised to q minus 2. So we are integrating from y is from 0 to di, you will get this area S2, right? So S2 is equal to 1 by q into di raised to q. Now the total area of this rectangle is ci into di, which is equal to which is always, but S2 is up to this here, right? So this is the total area of this. Clearly this will be the total S1 S2, the sum of the integral will be always greater, right? So we have the sum is always x is the product ci di. So we have ci di is always less than or equal to, the area of this is less than or equal to these two areas, right? So we have 1 by p into ci raised to p plus 1 by q into di raised to q. So from that, so we got the result. Okay, this result is known as, this inequality is known as Young's inequality. Okay, that is either real number, for example a and b, and we have a into b is always less than or equal to a raised to p divided by p plus b raised to q divided by q, where p and q are conjugate pairs, such that that means 1 by p plus 1 by q equal to 1. Okay, this holds for any two real numbers. Okay, so this inequality is known as Young's inequality. So Holder's inequality proves, and we are using Young's inequality. So we got this, yes, inequality we got. So what, when you are adding this inequality, so you have adding all the values in the sigma. We are sigma ci di is less than or equal to what you are sigma ci raised to p divided by p plus sigma di raised to q divided by q. But we have proved that this is equal to 1. So we will get it as this. So we got that sigma ci di is less than or equal to 1. Okay. So from this, how we will get the answer? We have sigma di is less than or equal to 1. You have substitute for ci. We have modulus of ai divided by sigma modulus of ai raised to p whole raised to 1 by p, right? Modulus of bi divided by sigma bi raised to q whole raised to 1 by q less than or equal to 1. So you keep these two numbers here, sigma mod ai bi, then you take this to that side, you will get like this. From that, sigma modulus of ai bi is less than or equal to sigma modulus of ai raised to p whole raised to 1 by p into, so we have proved the Holder's inequality for finite case. If you let n tends to infinity, you will get the result. Okay, so okay, let us consider for p equal to 2. So p equal to 2 means we will get q is equal to 2, right? So that is 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 is equal to 1. In that case, the inequality is known as Cauchy-Schwarz inequality. So you can see here sigma j equal to 1 to n modulus of aj bj raised to, we will have like this. This is clearly less than or equal to sigma j equal to 1 mod aj bj whole square, right? And which is equal to, you can write like this, and which is less than or equal to, we are considering all the square powers. So when you actually, you can see aj, here you have aj square bj square, right? And same thing, a1 square a2 a1 square b1 square, a2 square, b2 square, and the other parts will be coming here, a1 square, b2 square, a1 square, a3, b3 square, something like that. All the things will come. So these two becomes which is equal to sigma j equal to 1 to n mod aj raised to whole aj square, right? aj square sigma j equal to 1 to n bj square. So what do you have? Sigma j equal to 1 mod aj bj is equal to the power of 1 by 2, right? Sigma j equal to 1 to n mod aj raised to square whole raised to 1 by 2, sigma j equal to 1 to n bj whole square whole raised to 1 by 2. Okay, so hence for p equal to 2 and q equal to 2, the Holder's inequality obviously easily proved. Okay, so next the Holder's inequality for integrals. You can see here, for 1 less than p less than infinity, let q be any one conjugate pair, be any conjugate pair. Then we have for any all functions on interval closed interval a comma b such that integral a to b mod f of t raised to p dt, integral a to b mod g of t raised to q dt, and integral a to b f of t gt dt exist. That is Riemann integrals ആണ്. അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ what you have, integral a to b f mod f of t g of t dt is less than or equal to integral mod f of t raised to p dt whole raised to 1 by p integral g of t raised to q dt whole raised to 1. Clearly you can compare if you want. Integral means sigma symmetric പകരം continuous ആയതുകൊണ്ട് integral a to b. Okay, so we have mod ak bk ആയിരുന്നു, which is less than or equal to sigma ak raised to p. So we have integral mod f of t raised to p, ak raised to p whole raised to 1 by p ആയിരുന്നു. So we have this like this, sigma bk, that is integral a to b mod g of t raised to q whole raised to 1 by p. Okay, so this is for integral. It's very easy to prove. This is the Riemann integral we are considering partitions x0 x1 x2 xn more controlled. So let's say we are taking a uniform interval, mod delta x the length delta x is equal to b minus a divided by n. Okay, so what do you have? You know the definition of a Riemann integral, right? So sigma j I equal to 1 to n mod f of xi g of xi into delta x can be written as sigma equal to 1, which is less than or equal to, we are considering all the pairs 1 by p plus 1 by q. Okay, so mod f of xi g of xi into delta xi raised to 1 by p plus 1 by q, 1 can be written as like this. So which is equal to sigma equal to 1 to n separating. So mod f of xi raised to p delta x whole raised to 1 by p mod g of xi raised to q delta x whole raised to 1 by q. Okay, so this is what you got now. So comparing these two, what you are having is sigma equal to 1 to n mod f of xi g of xi delta x is less than or equal to the left side, sigma equal to 1 to n mod f of xi raised to p delta x whole raised to 1 by p, and sigma equal to 1 to n mod g of xi raised to q whole raised to delta x into whole raised to. So when you get n tends to infinity, you will get the answer. Okay, how you are getting? You will get the answer. So whenever n tends to infinity means what do you have? Delta x equal to so what you have here, whenever n tends to infinity, you will have, you can see here okay, we have delta x is equal to what you have, b minus a by n, right? So whenever n tends to infinity, we have delta x tends to 0. So you have limit delta x tends to infinity sigma equal to 1 to n mod of f of xi. So that will becomes integral, right? Integral of mod of f of xi into g of xi, right? Into dt it will come as, which is less than or equal to, you can have here also limit delta x tends to infinity to 0. So this will becomes integral, and this is also becomes integral. So hence proved. So we have proved Holder's inequality for sequence case and integral case, right? So please go through it, and if you have you write down your notebook. Okay, എന്തെങ്കിലും ഡൗട്ടുകൾ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ചോദിക്കുക.